So, when we come to the end of something, a phase of one's life or a pilgrimage, where, what do you feel? What do you feel? Nothing. What do you feel?
It's truly a community of love we share.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
What do you feel? No, sorry. No, so what do you, as we come to the end of something, there's always some feeling and emotion to do, associated just with the end of something.
A little sad.
A little sad?
Sad. Joyful.
What?
Mixed
Mixed
feelings.
feeling.
What's, apart from sadness, what's the other mix?
Joy.
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 Renewed.
Renewed. Refreshed.
And refreshed, good. Yes, and ready to go back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And begin life again.
And begin life again. Well, we haven't stopped living. But, no, I think it's,
Begin a new life.
It's a time to take a moment to reflect on the passage of time in our lives. And this gospel is perfect because what happens? The two disciples who have left Jerusalem with a feeling of sadness, their hopes had been destroyed. They felt that the whole Jesus project had collapsed, you know. Probably they felt like this campaign managers of politician after he's lost the election, and they've got to pick up the pieces. And so they're walking together away from Jerusalem, maybe frightened to stay there at the moment because they're vulnerable. And they're discussing what had happened, and probably sharing their sense of defeat and failure. And then Jesus joins them along the road, greets them, and asks them what they're talking about. But I think it's a funny scene. There's a comical aspect to it too, isn't it? You know, mistaken identity. It's always a source of humor and comedy, and the audience knows that the actors are making a mistake. So there's a seriousness about the story, but also a lightness of heart as well. So they don't recognize him, and we've seen that in nearly all the gospel appearances. First, the disciples either are frightened or they just don't recognize him. And these stories are meant to illuminate our own experience. We too are walking along our path, day by day, over the years, and very often we don't recognize the presence that is accompanying us, supporting us, teaching us, ready to help us, because we're focused upon our sadness, upon our negativity, or upon our fear. And because we're absorbed in our negative feelings, we can't see the presence that is there with us. And yet, the disciples on this road to Emmaus, as they talk to Jesus and as he begins to teach them, to lead them to, first of all, an understanding of the mind through the explanation of the scriptures, reminds us of the importance of scripture in the Christian life. Our reading and reflection on scripture is an essential element of our Christian journey. Meditation doesn't replace that or any other form of prayer, but it enriches it. And one of the first ways in which the the early teachers of Christian meditation back in the 5th century spoke about the effect of meditation was that it helped them to read Scripture better. They found that as a result of their meditation, they were able to see deeper into the meaning of Scripture, and they said they felt they resonated with it as if they had written the words of Scripture themselves. So their own experience was resonating with the Word of God in the Scripture. So we should never forget the importance of our daily reading of Scripture to both support and our daily meditation, but also to illuminate it, because the meditation allows us to read the Scripture more deeply. So then Jesus is describing and explaining the Scriptures to them, and their hearts are burning within them. So they feel they still can't recognize him, but they feel the movement of the Spirit, teaching them, removing the veil of ignorance, the veil of fear that hides him from their sight. Do you remember what I was saying earlier? It's not so much what we get out of meditation that matters, it's more what we let go of, what we can lose. And what we lose are the bonds of the past, the fears, the habits of mind that keep us locked into the past. And, you know, we can feel this very strongly, that we're trapped in what happened to us a week ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. It's so easy for us just to assume that we are meant to live in this prison of our fears or of our guilt or of our... Often we don't even know exactly what are the events, the traumas that keep us locked into the past. And yet, that is not what the Spirit wants. The Spirit wants to set us free, to break these bonds, to liberate us, and to bring us into the light of the present moment, of His presence. So then, the evening comes, and they stop at the place they're going to spend the night. And Jesus, again, one can imagine this as a scene in a movie, wants to continue traveling, but they persuade him to stay with them. And then, as they sit at supper, and he breaks the bread, their eyes are opened. Which speaks about the other great resource we have in the Christian life, which is the Eucharist. We have Scripture at the beginning of the story, and then the Eucharist. And it's in the breaking of the bread. And it's a powerful symbol of unity and healing that we should break the bread. It seems as if we're dividing it. But it reminds us that there has to be a break with the past, a break with our habits of mind and the old self. There has to be a fraction, a breaking with the past if we are to enter into this new communion. So every time we break bread in the Mass, we are reminding ourselves of how healing comes to us, how healing and the feeling of experience of wholeness comes to us. And never think of the Mass as some kind of reward we have for being good Christians, good Catholics, good Anglicans, good whatever. But we should think of the Mass as Jesus taught us, and as the early church understood it, as a sacrament of healing. I had not come for the virtuous, he said, but for the sick. To heal the sick, to heal those who are wounded, to remove their obstacles, their obstructions, their fears, and to set us free. Healing process. So, As our pilgrimage concludes and as we pick up the other pilgrimage of our life, as we can reflect for a moment together on what it is that nourishes us for the journey. It's also a moment where we should thank each other. I thank you for being a really beautiful group. It's always amazing when you get to know people, even though we may not have all spent much time talking because there wasn't a lot of time. But after you've lived and prayed together for a few days, and got on off the bus and had meals together and so on, and visited these sacred sites, I feel very close to you and a love really for each of you, and I'm sure you feel the same. That we sort of recognize each other day by day. So I want to thank you for that, and I'm sure you'd like to thank each other for that. And to thank those who have been our ministers and organizers, and those who have really helped us to enter into this special week so richly because of the care and attention that they've given us. So thank you, Ella, especially for the wonderful gift of service and your efficiency and your care and attention that you've given it. And to my Lord, where's my Lord? To Millard, thank you for your attention to detail and your concern for everyone's well-being and anticipation of so many things. It's been beautiful to see. And JM, thank you for being there, hovering and coming to strike when necessary, but your presence and your awareness. Who else should we thank? Well, of course, we thank Tamar and Sahir. We'll thank them later. But
thank you.
You, Father.
Father.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
what? Talks? Yeah. Good. Well, it's been a delight and a stimulus and a pleasure for me. Maybe it would have been nice to have had a little bit longer sleep some days, but nevertheless, it was very energizing as well. I hope you feel that. So, let's just reflect upon the food for the journey. And somebody mentioned to me, just to remind you, that the world community, we formed a little cell of the world community for Christian meditation this week. And the world community is on this pilgrimage every day all around the world. And there are certain little ways in which we've developed, or meditators have developed to support and celebrate the connection we have on the journey of meditation. And I hope that for those of you who've been meditating for many years, this has taken you deeper. I hope for those of you who are struggling with the second meditation, this will push you over the edge into the second meditation. And for those of you who have been new to meditation and began with us this week, I hope that this has been a good introduction and maybe the beginning of a new path for you to deepen your lives. There's one, if you go to the website, wccm.org, you'll find a lot of resources there. There's a great page called Media Resources, which are just a collection of talks by many different people, teachers within the community. We're doing a lot at the moment, training new teachers, looking ahead, of course, to the next generation. Bonneau, which is the same age as this church, 900 years. Bonneau, of course, has many different functions and ways of serving the world community, but an important one is to prepare for the next generation of teachers in the world community. And the app is a very useful resource, I was just reminded about that. So reading the, looking at the, look at the app, how many people have the app on your, oh, most people. Anyway, it's WCCI gives you